Welcome, friends, to Ancient Wisdom. This is a place where we come together to share the wisdom of life, to learn from ancient teachings, and to reflect on ourselves. Today, we will speak of something so simple, yet so deeply profound. Embracing solitude, and how it is through solitude that we can come to truly know ourselves. The world today is filled with distractions. From the moment we wake, we are bombarded with the noise of daily life, emails, messages, social media updates, the chatter of everyday life. We move through the world, interacting with others, engaging in conversations, and being pulled in countless directions. Yet, in all this movement, in all this noise, how often do we pause to listen to the one voice that matters most, our own? Solitude is a precious gift. It is a gift that the world often overlooks, and one that many of us shy away from. We associate solitude with loneliness, with being cut off from the world, and we fear it. But I am here to tell you that solitude is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. It is in solitude that we find clarity, that we find peace, that we find ourselves. Let us take a moment to consider this truth. You are never truly alone when you are with yourself. You carry within you all the wisdom, all the strength, all the love that you seek. But to hear these things, to feel them, you must quiet the world around you. You must find a space of solitude. There is an old saying, attributed to Rumi, the great Sufi mystic, who said, "The quieter you become, the more you are able to hear." This is the essence of solitude. In the quiet, we begin to hear the things that matter. We begin to hear our true thoughts, our true desires, and our true fears. And in hearing them, we can begin to understand them. But solitude is not easy. Many of us fear being alone with our thoughts. We fear what we might discover if we sit in silence for too long. There are emotions we have buried, memories we have hidden, and truths we have avoided. In the noise of daily life, it is easy to keep these things at bay. But in solitude, they rise to the surface. And this is where the real work begins. Solitude is not just about being physically alone. It is about being present with yourself, without distraction, without avoidance. It is about creating space for reflection, for deep thinking, for self-examination. And this can be uncomfortable. But it is also necessary. For how can we grow, how can we truly understand ourselves, if we do not take the time to reflect? As the great philosopher Socrates once said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." And to examine our lives, we need solitude. We need time away from the opinions of others, from the demands of the world, and from the constant pull of external obligations. We need time to simply be with ourselves, to ask the big questions. Who am I? What do I want from life? What do I value? What am I afraid of? In solitude, we find the answers to these questions. Not all at once, and not always easily, but slowly, over time. Solitude gives us the space to think deeply, to reflect, to challenge ourselves. And in doing so, we grow. We become more aware, more in tune with our own needs, our own desires, and our own truths. But let me tell you, friends, this journey into solitude is not without its challenges. When we first sit alone in silence, the mind can be a noisy place. Thoughts race, worries surface, and the mind pulls us in many directions. We think about the past, we worry about the future, and we get caught in loops of thought that seem never-ending. This is normal. The mind is like a wild horse, constantly moving, constantly restless. Yet, in solitude, we learn to tame the mind. We learn to sit with our thoughts, to observe them, and to let them pass. We learn that we are not our thoughts, we are the observer of our thoughts. And this is a powerful realization. When we understand this, we begin to gain control over our minds, our emotions, and our reactions. As the great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. Solitude gives us the space to practice this control. It gives us the opportunity to reflect on how we react to the world, how we handle challenges, and how we deal with our emotions. And in this reflection, we gain power over ourselves. We become less reactive, less controlled by external events, and more grounded in our own inner strength. But solitude is not just about introspection. It is also about rest. In solitude, we find the time to rest our minds, to rest our bodies, and to recharge our spirits. The world demands so much from us: constant productivity, constant engagement, constant action. But we are not machines. We are human beings, and we need time to rest, to reflect, to simply be. In the words of the Buddha, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. Solitude is the path to that inner peace. When we take time to be alone, when we create space for reflection and rest, we reconnect with the peace that is always within us. This peace cannot be found in the noise of the world. It can only be found in the quiet of solitude. Now, I know that many of you might be thinking, I don't have time for solitude. My life is too busy, too full of responsibilities. But I urge you to reconsider. Solitude does not have to mean hours spent alone in the wilderness or days of meditation. It can be found in small moments, in simple actions. It can be a few minutes of quiet in the morning before the day begins. It can be a walk alone in nature, without music or distraction. It can be sitting in silence at the end of the day, reflecting on your thoughts and emotions. Even in the busiest of lives, there is space for solitude. You simply have to make it a priority. You have to recognize its importance, its value. You have to understand that it is not a luxury, but a necessity. For it is only in solitude that we can truly hear ourselves, that we can truly reflect, that we can truly grow. And so, I ask you, when was the last time you allowed yourself to be alone? Truly alone, without distractions, without noise? When was the last time you sat in silence and simply listened to your own thoughts, your own heart, your own soul? If it has been a while, I encourage you to make time for solitude. Start small, if you must. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. But make the time. Because here's the truth, you cannot fully know yourself without solitude. You cannot fully understand your life, your purpose, and your desires without taking the time to reflect. The world will not give you this time. You must take it for yourself. You must carve out moments of stillness in the chaos of life. And in these moments, you will find clarity. You will find peace. You will find yourself. As the old proverb goes, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Solitude is that first step. It is the beginning of the journey inward, the journey to self-awareness, self-acceptance, and self-love. And while the journey may be long, it is the most important journey you will ever take. Solitude is not an escape from the world, but it is a return to yourself. It is a time to reconnect with who you are, with what matters to you, with the deepest parts of your being. And when you emerge from this solitude, you return to the world stronger, clearer, more at peace. There is a quiet power in solitude, a strength that comes from within. It is the strength of knowing yourself, of being comfortable in your own company, of trusting your own wisdom. This is the power that solitude gives us, the power to be at peace with ourselves, no matter what is happening around us. So, friends, embrace solitude. Welcome it into your life, not as something to be feared, but as something to be cherished. It is in solitude that we find our greatest truths, our deepest wisdom, our truest selves. And in finding these things, we find the strength to face the world with clarity and peace. Thank you for being here with me today on Ancient Wisdom. If these words have resonated with you, I encourage you to like this video, share it with others who may benefit from this message, and subscribe to our channel for more reflections on life, wisdom, and the journey of self-discovery. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you can continue this journey with us. Remember, friends, that solitude is not something to be feared. It is a gift, a space for reflection, a path to deeper understanding. So, embrace it. Walk the path of solitude with courage and curiosity, and you will discover more about yourself than you ever thought possible. Until next time, may you find peace in your solitude, and may your solitude lead you to greater wisdom and strength.